Conahan. I didn't realize it started.
Welcome to Scary Friends.
I didn't know it started.
Well, that's as good as it's gonna get. Welcome to Scary Friends, everybody.
People are gonna be like, "What the fuck were they talking about?"
Yeah.
The only podcast on the internet that is more unprofessional than, well, nothing, I guess. I'm joined by...
Starts with tone at the top, John.
William.
So. Hi.
Anything to add?
No, nothing to add.
Sure.
I'm positive, Dylan. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the intro.
Yeah. Dan!
These are always great.
Dan is here.
Hi.
Anything to add, Dan? Dylan!
Stop being so saucy, John.
Dylan.
Hey, John.
Hey, Dylan. How are you doing
Hello,
today?
John.
Hey, John. Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hey, Will.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
It's a Jurassic Park joke.
I'm really I think I'm starting to hit the Dan meter right now.
What'd you say?
The Dan meter's gone for me, so.
Oh, I know.
I thought that was the Dylan.
Any anger you lost, I
Dan
found.
Yes. It was transferred.
Energy is neither created
So
nor
anyway,
destroyed.
welcome to Scary Friends, and on today's very special Creepypasta podcast, we're going to be doing something for the very first time.
Reading a story?
No.
Oh.
Reading a
This
long story?
is a Creepypasta that I have never read before.
No! Wait,
It
why
is
do
a-
I care?
Oh, I thought you were going to say. that we're doing this naked because we've done that every podcast.
Well, I
so
mean,
I didn't. I
it
know you didn't
seems-
want to bring attention to it, but
It would be
Yeah.
weird to announce it now.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, too late.
I mean,
but-
flopping in the breeze is all
Yeah.
I mean,
fun
does
and all, but...
does not having a shirt on count as... I guess it's like a half nudity, or...
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, my dick's out right now. You can't really tell because it's dark. But...
I can
Oh, is
see
that
it.
what that is? I thought that was like a pencil.
No, yeah, it's
I thought you had a
my
third
dick.
leg, to be
Oh,
honest.
well, no, it's my dick. It's my
Well, we
dick.
both have different perceptions.
the same dick. That's literally three.
It's not. It could be big or small.
I had an Austin Powers joke in my head.
It's large, but it's thin.
My word.
Oh.
If any ladies are watching this, that is not entirely true. I have a very average-sized penis. Anyway.
That's not, I was just talking about my own.
Dan steps in. Last time I measured yesterday morning, it was approximately 5 inches and
Oh
1
my God,
quarter.
we didn't even do this with normal porn.
We
God.
really didn't. No.
I measured the
Oh
girth
my
with
God.
measuring tape.
What story are we reading today,
We
John?
are reading The House That Death Forgot, a story that
Reading the
I
penis
know
forgot.
is very, very well received, and that's about all I know. I heard this on another podcast for creepypastas that should be movie adaptations.
Okay.
I know I have a premise of what this is about, but I've never actually read The House That Death Forgot.
It sounds
on
like
its own.
the spiritual successor to No End House.
No, this is written by a different person.
No,
I
I
like
know,
the
but
title,
that's what
though.
it sounds
This
like.
This title's really good because this is a really in-your-face title. You have to understand there's thousands of creepypastas on this.
Wait,
channel.
what does that mean?
I'm talking about how there's thousands and thousands of creepypasta stories on this wiki. In
Yeah.
order to stand out nowadays, it's kind of tough.
I mean the
And
title.
so
What does
the
the title
title's
mean?
The House That Death Forgot.
It's a
Yeah,
house
but like,
that
but
no
house
died in.
houses don't die anyway. So it's like doesn't.
It's Tuck Everlasting, okay?
Wait, is this like a Moses thing where
a
like the
so-
angel of death passed over the house?
William, normally I would be able to give you a vague answer, but I've never read the story.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm
So this is
asking.
why it's an experiment, because normally I go into these things knowing what the story is already, and what ends up happening... Yes, Dylan, I know I interrupted you. I'm
You
sorry.
look like you
I'll
want
be
to say
right...
something.
Listen, Dylan. Yeah. For those of you at home, I just interrupted Dylan, so I'm going to finish my statement, and then we're going to give Dylan a full minute to tell us what he
But
was
it's not going to
thinking.
be a full minute.
Well, you're gonna have to fucking make it count.
Don't go yet.
Shout out to Nate, because Nate's not here right
Nate's
now.
not
Nate is
I'm
also
sorry.
not here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
Nate
true.
isn't here. Because
You were upset about that? That's really what you're upset about?
He
Alright.
wouldn't stop!
Okay,
I'm like,
alright. Alright, that's fair, I guess.
what was I even saying?
Well,
I don't know,
this
something
is
about, like, not reading it and...
you repeating the fact that you haven't read it.
I have...
Right, I have not read this story.
Have you?
That's weird, neither have I!
Oh, yeah.
Wait, have you?
None of
Wait.
us-
Okay, no, this I know I remember now. Okay, so normally when I go into this podcast and I pick a story, it's always been stuff that I've read, and that
like
way it
5
allows
minutes
me
before
to
we're about to record.
figure. You know what, Dan? If you don't like the way things are run,
Call him out.
get the fuck out. Make your own fucking podcast. Why don't you buy a mic and some equipment and go fucking record upstairs? How about that, Dan? No? Alright. Good. Good. Any other objections?
Yes, you just blew up the audio.
Holy shit.
So wait, like,
Duly noted.
so this is just gonna be like a retelling of the Book of Exodus, then, right?
I do not know.
Gods
have
Among
you
Us?
read the book Tuck Everlasting?
The point
Yes,
I've been
actually.
trying to
Shitty
make.
movie.
That's what it reminds
It
me.
is a shitty
Okay,
movie.
yeah.
The point I've been trying to make for the last minute or so is that with all these podcasts that we've done, I've always been able to. There's stories I've read, so I know generally how long it's going to take. So I know a good time to pause and talk about it, like while we're in the middle of reading the story.
God damn it.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
It
not
was,
like you play
my-
music.
it wasn't me.
My ex-coworker texted me Bible verses again.
Nice, dude. That fits with our theme this
Yeah.
this week.
The
So
house that death forgot.
excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun because I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but it's kind of fun because now I get to be, I'm like you guys. I'm like an observer. I'm
Simpletons.
A fellow
He's a
pleb.
square.
Not a pleb, but none of you are plebs.
No, he's a seasoned Creepypasta reader. We are still the noobs.
Oh, yes, very much.
I'm not
They
seeing.
do.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not.
The peons.
He is a chef in his own right.
Jesus.
Alright, let's do it.
Alright. So this is The House That Death Forgot by Josh Parker.
Damn death.
Is that a pseudonym or his real name?
I have absolutely.
Is he related to Peter Parker?
Melinda hated driving at night. She did her best to
Well, then
avoid it,
Dylan
like
right
respond. She did her best to avoid it, like me avoiding that. What you just said.
You're welcome for the metaphor.
I love how this is. I'm trying to experience this too.
You just went full Dylan. Like you,
really did.
you just went full Dylan.
Yeah, but wait, yeah, you guys get mad at me when I do
We
it.
do!
But
Yes.
he does it. It's fine.
We're both mad right
You're both
now.
mad right now.
Okay.
You're just the one who's not mad.
This is
I
just
know,
like
I'm just laughing.
Dylan just.
Because I went full you! Holy shit.
7 minutes.
Okay.
We're 7
Alright,
minutes in.
alright.
Are we really?
Yep.
Yeah, time
Whew.
flies.
We haven't
Last one-
talked about
last one wasn't
anything.
that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Melinda hated driving at night. She did her best to avoid it. Short trips to the store if she. Oh, my phone is. Well. Short trips to the store if she just realized she ran out of tampons or had nothing for dinner after getting home. That sort of thing happened now and then. But she did her best not to go out after dark unless someone was coming to pick her up. So naturally, she found herself on the longest drive of her life now. With no moon, few stars, swirling clouds above her, and acres of forest on either side. As so many unpleasant things in her life, this was her father's fault. Daddy issues. Okay. She hadn't seen or
Just keep
spoken
going,
to the,
buddy.
She hadn't seen or spoken to the bastard in 15 years, but just after falling asleep tonight, no, that was wrong. It would be yesterday by this time. Out of the blue, her phone rang, and his voice was on the other end. Dad?
I need you, Melly. Please come now.
That's the most fucking ominous.
He'd said just that, and then the line went dead. The old ass was probably drunk, but he'd never called her before. Not since she was a child and he was still trying to convince her mother to take him back. It felt like she had been dreaming, waking up to hear his voice again after all these years. It sounded like he was crying. His voice sounded just the same as the last time she'd heard it. As though in a dream, she had risen, dressed, and gotten in the car. She was well out of town and halfway to his old place before realizing she had no way of knowing if he still even lived there. She received updates from her mother from time to time over the years about where he was. The last time she heard from her mother about him was 7 years ago. Had he ever stayed in one place that long?
Not to her recollection. She had been 7 when her mother finally had enough and showed him the door. Prior to that, a move had come every few months. Is this the same couple from Widemouth? The house...
2 years later.
With
The widening!
with a gender-bent child.
Oh yeah, wasn't it a male?
I don't think it's specified.
Did it not?
Actually, I don't think it did.
Oh, we just projected our cis-male
We're just a bunch of
scumbags.
sexist.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, that's fair.
Yay.
No, continue.
The house that they had been living in was their longest stay in one place. A full 16 months.
Wow.
It turned into 2 years after that, and then the next house had been the one she left when she moved out on her own. And all the time she heard from him, sporadically at best, and finally decided it was best to simply forget about him. Until tonight. She had found out after a 2-hour drive that she had been right to wonder if he was still in the same place. His last known address was a sketchy apartment in a low-income area of the town she had grown up in. Had he been number 24 or number 42? Maybe he was 14. Definitely had a 4. Didn't matter. His name wasn't on any of the buzzers.
Bastard! Her drunk,
That's
her
perfect.
drunk of a father had called her at night.
all but demanding she come to him for reasons he didn't even feel were important enough to tell her over the phone, and then just expected that she would know where he lived now. In a flurry of rage, she turned and marched back to her car, slamming the door and starting off in the direction she came. She was so angry she didn't even look where she was going and missed her turn off. The next thing she knew, she was on this lonely stretch of road. Cars were sparse, but she took some comfort in the fact that she would pass one every half hour or so. Her dashboard clock now read 2:27 a.m. She had been driving for more than 5 hours since leaving her house. At night. Every 5 minutes or so, she checked her cell phone. Ever since realizing she was lost, she had checked her phone and found no bars at all. She even stopped at a gas station, closed of course, just sure there should be some service around here somewhere, but nothing.
Were you woman at night? It was a little cheesy.
No, it wasn't that. I like how it's establishing I like this relationship, by the way. I like how it's, it sounds like this guy, this father, is a real piece of shit.
I love absent fathers.
No.
Do you?
How about you let me finish first? I'm kidding.
I don't love absent fathers because
they're not there.
Night.
I can't hate them.
There. Well,
Not there.
I have a wonderful track record with women with daddy issues, so.
At night.
At night.
No, but I like this relationship because what ends up, it sounds like this guy's a real piece of shit, and she's like, oh, fuck this bastard. But here she is driving to him at 2:27. So in some way, she does care, but it's like this, I don't know what to really think.
I mean, the attachment between parent and child is incredibly strong, so...
Even if he's a dickhole.
Right, yeah, you still...
I can believe this.
Even if you have, horrible parents, you still care what they think about you, in a way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
you do.
you still,
you do.
you don't want to disappoint them.
Yes, you do.
Kind of that feeling.
You don't want to wind up being like them.
Right. So you still want to, impress your parents, and you want to have a better life than they did.
Daddy, do you love me?
Yeah, there's
good parents want you to have a better life.
Exactly.
On some level, maybe she thinks that
it's a joint effort.
She'll finally be loved by her father if she does this.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. It's obviously we're lucky enough to not really have. I don't think any of us none of us really have a negative relationship.
I mean, there's a whole host of psychological issues that underlie, abusive and absent parents. So it's, I don't think any of us are really qualified to go into detail about how that works.
Not at all.
Let's just say we have loving families.
Probably the last 4 in the entire fucking country, but yeah.
4? For 4 parents?
4 people.
All 4 people.
Us.
Okay. So Nate doesn't have good parents.
They say, what the f***?
I'm kidding.
He's by proxy under Dylan.
I know. I'm kidding.
They're related.
I thought I had stupid comments.
Oh my god.
This is
shitting all over
this is just going to be like a snappy podcast. The salty
The
cast.
Salt Your Friends podcast.
Yeah. Laying salt upstairs.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So, where are we at? Take stock 2.
Take stock of your life.
Take stock of your life, Millie, she thought. You're over 30. You hate your job, and you and your mother don't get along. You haven't seen or spoken to your father in just under half your life. You have no time for your friends or a relationship, thanks to the aforementioned job you hate. And now here you are, trapped on a road you've never been before, at night, and you can't do much. You can't even call anybody. My battery signal went in front of it. I was trying to read that.
And you can't even much just
AMA.
call. Yeah, there you go.
AMA, let alone check Google Maps. Smart lady you are.
At night.
Just end every paragraph.
She briefly considered stopping and flying down the next car that passed. She quickly realized the futility of the... Oh my god, I can't even read. Futility of that plan. Any car on this road would also need no service. So there was nothing for it. She'd have to drive until she saw a house. She'd feel bad for not waking up. She'd feel bad for waking someone up, but there was no choice. She needed to find her way back to the main highway.
Why didn't she just hang out, just sleep in her car until sunrise?
Yeah, honestly, if I'm in
if you're lost in the...
Well, she's trying to get somewhere. You know what I mean?
There's something...
She's trying to go home.
There's
trying
something...
to get to the dad.
No, it said she...
At this point, she's trying to go home.
And go home. She missed a turn off, and now she has no idea where the fuck she is.
On the
That's
way.
when you came.
No, she never did. She said...
Probably to still find it.
No, she didn't. She said, "Fuck it, I'm going home."
Explicitly said
It's very clearly stated.
This is the problem. You haven't read
This
it.
is why
You're
John
not
needs to
paying
read
attention.
before. He doesn't
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
attention.
I guess not.
She
Unbelievable.
explicitly said she's turning home.
No,
She
but
turn off on the way home.
yeah, I think Yeah, fucking every paragraph should with at night. That was the cheesiest shit.
It really
and
was.
we really shouldn't be like mean to the story because of it, right? Like
It's a
this.
SpongeBob
But
reference.
But yeah,
What are you gonna
why?
do?
That's
Yeah.
true. But like, yeah, if that was me, I would just wait until the sun rose and there was actual cars on the road.
At night.
you have a
At
good
night.
point. The thing,
let's
the
just stop.
thing is,
Yeah.
What else? Like, what else?
the thing is that like,
She's
we'll
kinda
stop at night.
dumb.
The thing about that is like if you're in like a sketch area and it seems like in the boonies in the woods, what if you I feel a little uncomfortable
I
parking
guess.
my car by the
Yeah,
road
that's true.
I
and
think
just
also
letting
the-
it chill there.
That's true.
No, I mean, that might be you, but I know of people who like. There's people who feel comfortable and confident flagging down cars in the middle of them.
Yeah, I would.
No, 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 but this
I
is-
wouldn't do that, but some people hit.
No, but this isn't
I'm
like
saying-
a highway. This is like a weird back road where no one's driving on.
Yeah.
And she can't even find a
I know
house.
it's not the same. It's not the same thing.
This
I
has
know.
horror. This has horror cliche.
It
written
really
all over
is. It really is. Yeah.
Well, the deep woods, no cell phone reception is kind of like the hallmarks
Crazy
of.
haunting trees over the
Yeah.
freaking road.
But if
Fucking
you
Evil Dead.
if you actually pulled over and tried to like hunker down in like your backseat or whatever, you'd be a little
Yes.
freaked out.
Yeah, I guess. but,
Especially when the
what other
branch-
options
what-
do you have?
It's
At
true.
least trees won't rape people.
I think
Yeah,
there's.
that's
I don't
true.
think there's any good options. There's
Because
like,
then you're
there's a
knocking
problem
on the
with whatever
window,
you do.
you know?
Yeah.
There's a problem with not getting help, and there's a problem with going to get help. You know what
Well,
I
I
mean?
don't understand why she just didn't like turn back and
Yeah.
try to.
Well, if it's a one way, she's trying to find the on ramp for the highway, and she keeps going, and there is none.
Oh,
That's what she's
okay.
doing. She missed her turn off, and I
Okay.
think it turned into like a weird little back road
She got
because it was the
turned
end of the
off,
highway.
Like the expressway.
Yeah,
It's-
She
and I,
couldn't turn around.
then I dropped
Yeah.
my phone and broke it, and yeah, she didn't know where to go.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
All right, we're
Yeah,
okay.
no.
I don't know where we left off.
But so far,
yeah, I got it. But so far, all she could see on either side was trees, mile after mile of trees. No light shining through the boughs. No sign that anyone had ever been here before except that there was a road and people were obviously still driving on it. There weren't even any road signs other than the mile markers. Had she really found the middle of nowhere? She was just in the middle of this thought when her headlights illuminated something just up the road. A square wooden sign, obviously made by someone other than the government. This wasn't a gas, food, lodging sign, or a mile marker, or a distance to sign. This looked like the kind of sign advertising a private business was nearby. She slowed down to read it. Granny Royce's Roadhouse. Come stay the night at Granny's. She'll take good care of you. Room, board, low prices. Next exit.
games, Kazam,
Games, fun, laughs.
Whimsy Woods.
For the kids.
What was that movie that came out with,
What?
with the grandparents? Like,
Oh yeah. The M Night Shyamalan
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
What?
that movie.
It was like
The
a
Visit.
The Village?
The Visit.
The Visit, yeah.
The
The
Visit.
Visit.
This has that written all over it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine M Night Shyamalan looked at this story.
What a
and was like, I
twist.
could do this.
I don't know what's older, honestly. I haven't looked at the when this was made versus
That movie came out last year, so this story's probably older.
when. Yeah, maybe it's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Her heart sped up. She certainly wasn't interested in spending a night at Granny Royce's, but every business had a phone. At the very least, she'd have a map, or know the way back to the highway. She decided she would stop there. She almost missed the turn. Granny Royce's Roadhouse.
This woman in missing turns.
Yeah, her sense of directions are a little bit askew,
Really
I think.
bad, yeah.
Granny Royce's Roadhouse was buried at the back of a long dirt driveway, secluded amid the trees. She was almost past the little dirt road that led back to it before realizing it was there. She skidded to a stop and turned in.
Roadhouse.
At night. Ugh. The little house lay ahead. It was 2 stories and looked to have about 8 to 10 rooms. Big for a home, but small for anything announcing room and board. She got closer and it looked for a vacancy sign. Nothing. Wasn't that the sign wasn't lit. There was no sign. The porch light was on and the front of the building was illuminated by the light and by her headlights. No signs of any kind. She almost wondered if she'd gotten the wrong place, but she was certain that she'd seen no other exits between this house and the sign announcing it. She paused in the driveway and took out her cell again. Still no service. She did a quick search for any available wireless signals. To her complete lack of surprise, there were none. Not even any secured. There's no one here but me, she thought. At this point, she wouldn't be surprised to find the house empty as well. The light was on and this was supposed to be a roadhouse. Someone would be manning the front desk. She got out of the car and headed for the front porch. As she turned around to make sure the lights flashed when she hit the lock button on her fob, she thought she could see a flash of movement in the trees. Something human-shaped. She stopped and looked again. Nothing. She decided she imagined it. Fuck you.
I do like the. I still
She
like her.
decided she imagined
Okay,
it.
I don't agree with her driving skills because she's 0 for 2 with almost 0 for 2
seriously?
with missing drives. But I do agree with her logic. She's like, I don't want to spend the night here. That's
Right.
stupid.
I just need
But
a phone. Yeah.
hey, they have a phone, possibly a map.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I've watched enough horror movies at this point to, if I saw a creepy cabin with no signs and one little light
And maybe
at the end of a
fucking
dirt road in the forest,
someone in the
and a
forest.
fucking dude in the trees,
Maybe, yeah.
I'm out. I don't care.
This is why I sleep in my car.
Yep. At this point, I'm like, sleeping in the car sounds A-okay.
Sounds really good.
Yep.
Ugh.
At the front door, she hesitated. If it really was a roadhouse, then she should be able to go just go in. But what if she got the wrong house? If she tried the door and just walked in, she could find herself arrested out of here in butt-fuck nowhere. This place. Cautiously, she tried the knob. It turned. She pressed gently on the door. It opened. Relief flooded through her when she saw that she was in a small but tastefully decorated foyer that had obviously been repurposed as an admissions area. A quaint desk with an honest-to-God guest book had been placed in the far right corner, and some chairs had been set out, along with magazines on a table. She read the titles briefly. Mademoiselle, Blue Book, The New Country Life, Arts and Architecture, before turning her attention to the little desk. There wasn't a computer. That was a cute touch. It was like the house was from a past era. Perhaps old Granny Royce really didn't like modern technology. There was, however, a little bell, just like there would have been in 1929. It wasn't even the round silver kind you slap to ring. It was a little porcelain handbell. This place was starting to out-cute her. Please let her have a phone, and please let it use the number plan, not 50s exchanges. She picked up the bell and gave it a shake.
I like the phrase "out cute."
Yeah.
That's
Oh, it's so quaint. Like,
okay. This is a little too quaint,
Yeah.
you know.
Like I'm picturing now like this old porcelain bell,
Yeah.
like the floral designs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything's like all nice floral patterns. You're like,
It's like, this is
You
creepy.
get one of those. What year is it?
Yeah, exactly.
I like the idea though, having a nice little handbell. You know, has everyone in here played season 1 of The Walking Dead by Telltale? Has everyone played that?
Yes.
No.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Are you planning on playing it?
probably not.
So chapter 2, there's a part where like they go to this ranch.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like that. You know, a
Okay,
nice.
the cat.
We've
the
prepared a
cannibals,
nice
the
meal for you.
cannibals,
We
yeah.
prepared a nice meal for you.
Yeah.
It's all nice. You just have to stay here. And it's like, this is too nice, but we're gonna.
It's the
But we-
thing that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Because in that, it's like, you know, it's too nice, but really, what choice do we
Yeah.
have?
In the episode he's referencing, there's 2 really nice people who turn out to be cannibals who eat the people who come to stay with them.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
gist of it.
Essentially.
It's raw. It's zombie meat.
No, it's not. For a while, nothing happened. Then she saw a light come on in the back room, and the shadow of an old woman sprang up on the wall. The shadow moved toward her within a few seconds. She saw its owner, Granny Royce, who perhaps looked like every grandmother in every storybook ever. Well, goodness me, she said. My lands. Good morning, dearie. Pardon the tardiness, but it's been a while since we got guests at this hour. Can I take your name, honey? Granny Royce was smallish, her gray hair tied in a neat bun behind her head. A dress that would have looked like it belonged to a senior citizen in the 20s, and a faded pink sweater. Melinda thought that she looked just like she would have wanted her own grandmother to look like. But her mother's mother had died when she was young, and she never met her father's mother. It almost hurt to deny this sweet little woman her business, but nevertheless she had to get home. Actually, I'm sorry, she began, but the fact is I'm lost. I'm not sure where I am in the direction of... Oh, you poor thing, said Granny Royce. You just sit down and let me fix you up some tea, or something. You must be cold. Really, thank you, but I'm okay, Melinda said gently. I just need to use your phone, if I could, or if you've got a map. Even that would be great. I really only live a couple of hours from here. She trailed off, not knowing if she was even right about that. She easily could have been 5+ hours in the wrong direction entirely. Could you?
Oh dear, said the little woman sadly. I'm sorry, honey, but the phone lines are down. I snipped them earlier. As for a map, well, I used to have one, and if I look, I still might, but it's probably quite out of date by now. The highway moved since then, I know that much.
Why do you sound like the grandma from Text Message Breakup?
I don't know.
Drink some whiskey, honey, to make you feel better.
It's like Bill Cosby.
Okay, fucking...
No, we don't talk about that rapist.
Are we really doing, like, the fucking phone lines are cut thing?
I feel like
Well,
Is there a storm?
Wait a minute, you added that. She didn't actually.
Alright, no, I added that she cut him herself, but the phone lines are down. That's in the story, and,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
this has
There's no storm? What?
This
There's
has
down?
total horror story cliches. Like
not
someone
gonna
just
fix
said,
them.
"Here, this is." Someone just put this on the internet saying, "Oh yeah, this was just a failed
It's
movie
like,
plot."
it's like that's like, whenever, like, the phones are all down, there's something
the thing.
so
Where's Jason?
eye-rolly
Give me
about
his
it.
face now. Come on.
Here's the thing about this story that I don't like, and this is the same issue that I have with No One House. This is a good creepy story so far, but I just don't consider this, based on what we've read, I don't consider this a creepy.
Oh no,
pasta.
are you gonna open this
No,
can of worms?
no, and here goes John.
John's
No,
fighting.
because
He's not fighting anything.
I just
I'm
to me, from based on what we've read, creepypasta to me seems much more like urban legends or like quasi believable stories. And this is believable, but this doesn't have that urban legend vibe. This is more like a scary story.
Maybe
like, no
the
one
vibe
has,
will
and
develop.
it is like
you
a
can see
creepypasta.
the thing with this one is that you can see the story develop,
Right.
start to develop.
Right,
which
but
is
it doesn't seem it's written much more like a story than
Yeah.
like an urban legend or somebody recalling
This is more
an
like a
event.
movie. This sounds like
Right,
more of a movie plot
right.
than it does.
And to me, I don't know. I've always felt like creepypastas are more urban legendy than they just have an urban legend
that's
vibe
a fair point.
than anything else.
I
and
disagree.
This is the same issue. And that's fine. And clearly I'm wrong because this is on the creepypasta page. But I just always felt that way, and I think that's why No One House. After going back and thinking about it,
you're looking at the old definition of the copy
I
pasta,
guess,
the
yeah.
creepypasta. I mean, the thing is, it's never just everything, especially on the internet. For God's sake, it develops. So I think
or dies
or dies. Yeah.
tragically.
True that. Or just no one follows it except for like a niche group of like dedicated.
Like, comment, and subscribe to keep us alive, guys.
You always gotta put that in. Don't you?
Yeah, come on.
Nate, you were missed.
Yeah.
Gone but not forgotten.
Carrying Nate's torch. Also, her car gets it must have pretty solid gas
Yeah, no
mileage for her
shit.
to drive over 5 hours and just be ready
Sure.
to.
I don't know.
Five
Hold
hours
on.
in
No,
the wrong
wait a
direction.
minute. She didn't. No, she drove. She said she didn't know if she was 5 hours away. But
Okay,
She easily.
She don't know.
Hold on.
You don't know if she stopped at a gas station before getting to.
She
this
said
point.
she did, and it was abandoned.
Yes, she
At
did.
that point,
That was in the story, John.
All right.
Wait, when did she leave her father's house? What did it say? 2:25.
227.
2:27.
And it says
so it's
she's.
about 5 hours later, which means it's about 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Which means that it should be light out. So
Yes.
you should probably
Wait a
just-
minute.
I don't think.
But it was
I think
dark
you're
in the
getting-
story. Wait a
No,
minute.
no,
I'm
it's
scrolling
dark.
back.
You're
It's
not.
dark woods, guys. Remember.
But
It doesn't matter.
sunlight
It's 7 in the
sunlight
morning.
knows no
Right.
boundaries.
It's dark in the woods.
It's 7 in the morning. It should be light enough now that she could drive back the opposite direction and see if she could find the right way to go.
She's lost either way.
It doesn't
She
matter,
doesn't
but
have
if
phones.
she's been on
Yeah,
the
but it said it was
same
dark
road,
outside.
She, could just
She can't. It's a
First of all-
one-way road.
Oh, here's the thing. How the fuck do you drive for 5 hours before realizing you're lost?
For real. Holy
That's
shit.
fucking stupid.
She didn't know. She didn't say
You
5
can't-
hours.
Okay, but she's been driving. It says in the story she's been driving for like 5 hours.
Alright, no.
Don't think that's what
I
she
scrolled back. It says her dashboard clock now read 2:27. She had been driving for more than 5 hours.
Okay,
Since
so,
leaving her
okay,
home.
Okay, so,
So
now
it's-
it's around 2:27.
It is. It's
Okay,
still. It's
okay.
probably 3 or 4 in the morning.
But how do you drive for 5 fucking hours
I've
and
done
then
it.
realize, oh, I'm lost?
I've definitely driven for 5 hours before.
And realize
Okay,
you're
but
lost.
Realize you're
That's
lost.
his point.
Realize you've missed
You're missing
a
his point.
ramp.
no, she probably.
That's fucking
She
ridiculous.
realized long in advance, like what you said earlier. She realized long in advance that she missed her ramp, and she probably was doing what you were saying: drive down the road until you get to the next exit.
But not for 5 fucking hours.
I guess
you don't know
John's
that
saying.
That's crazy.
You don't
John's
know the
saying-
point. I'm saying my argument. You
Yeah.
don't know the point of when she got lost. She didn't
And
get
where
lost
does it
and
say-
then drive
where
5
does it say
hours.
that this is a one-way road?
It never did.
It never
It
did.
never did.
Okay, fine. But
So
look,
she could just turn around and go back.
All right, look. I think we can all agree that she's just a fucking idiot with directions. I think that's where we can
but
land.
the
I think
the
this
choices
the
she's
story
making
is
are
too
not.
long for what it's. describing.
Well, we're not there yet. Let's not pass
There's a lot of
judgment
build.
yet. We got.
Okay.
Shit.
All right.
What
So
we have?
who's going now?
I think it's still me.
It's you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to refind it. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Melinda's heart sank. How could her luck get any worse? No phone, cell or landline, and no map. What could she do? She had to get back home. She was expected to work at 8 a.m. tomorrow. You're not making that. And why were the phone lines down? The weather was coldish but clear. Were they fixing a line nearby? Alright, yeah, it's kind of...
It's a little. Whatever.
That's what I was asking, yeah. She told Granny Royce the name of her town, but Granny only said, "Believe it or not, I've never heard of that town. What did you say the name was?" She told her again. "No, doesn't ring a bell. I'm sorry, but I could not say which direction it's in. Why don't you stay the night, sweetie? I'll give you a discount for your trouble." "Thank you. That's very kind of you. But I have work tomorrow, and I need to get back home. I'm not even sure why I'm out tonight. The only reason I had doesn't seem to matter anymore." "Honey, I wouldn't advise trying to drive back that far tonight," Granny Royce said. "Why, it's almost 3 in the morning, and you've not had any sleep. Maybe the lines will be up in the morning, and you can call your work and let them know you'll be late."
With a hatchet in the back of her hand.
"That won't work either," she replied. "I'm the opener." "No one, wait, that won't work either," she replied. Is this in first or third person so far?
It's third person.
Oh,
Third person.
Okay, I'm an idiot. "That won't work either," she replied. "I'm the opener. No one will be there." "No, I'm sorry, I've really
okay,
got
so you
to
don't
leave.
have to worry about the fucking.
I'll head in the other direction until I find the road I was on."
There you go.
At that, Granny Royce's expression, already one of kind concern, seemed to shift somewhat, to one of fear. She paused, looking at Melinda as though she wanted to say something else to keep her inside. Finally, she said reluctantly, "All right, honey, if you're sure. Just you be careful now. Don't speak to nobody until you're back on the road."
What the fuck? What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Her son is out on the prowess with a machete.
Yeah, dude, her son who
Her son Jason Voorhees.
who clambers nude in the trees waiting for...
Okay.
I like the story if this says that is her son is Jason. Like,
Jason
oh my god!
But yeah, we can
And
all...
she pulls up to Camp Crystal Lake.
But hang on, we can also confirm at this point, she did drive 5 hours pretty much in the wrong direction and has
Right.
only now decided to turn around.
Right.
You know it's true.
Sorry, come on,
it's
that's
not.
fucking
Come on.
stupid.
It's not. There's no proof that she missed a turn and then drove 5 hours. No.
What is... It's the...
No.
It says it.
It's the
in
entire-
the text.
It says that she drove 5 hours. You don't know what point she got lost.
No.
It didn't- does it say that she got lost and then drove
It
5
doesn't
hours,
matter.
or does it
If
say
you
she
miss-
drove 5 hours?
If you miss an exit, okay,
right?
even if she missed...
When did she miss the
It
exit?
doesn't- it
4
doesn't-
hours?
Coming
3
home!
hours?
No.
It doesn't specify how long it took to get to her father's house. Okay, fine. But it also doesn't specify where the turn was. So it could have been... It doesn't matter. Any span of time... If
It could have
she
been 15
figured...
to 30 minutes.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. Because
All
it
right,
just
that's
seems
you.
absurd driving
She
5
wrote
hours.
so... There's so much writing about how she drove forever and couldn't find anything. They went into great detail about how
Right.
she
So
passed the
she
car...
was definitely
John,
lost
an
an
hour
hour
okay,
in the
no.
rest-
It says she passed at least one car every half hour. Now we're working in units of 30 minutes apiece
Right.
of her being in the wrong
Right.
direction.
Right.
That's multiple...
it's gotta be
so at least an hour...
At least an hour to 2 hours.
At least an hour,
Okay.
probably more.
Fine. Fair enough.
Of this
But
imbecile.
not 5.
Alright, not 5, but at
Yeah.
least maybe like 2 or 3 will agree that she's going the wrong way.
Okay.
And only now
And
decides
that's
to turn
absurd,
around.
right?
Yes, it is.
That's
It's
absurd.
insanity. Okay,
That's
you
absurd.
can go ahead.
I mean,
man.
let's be honest here. We really don't have this problem because we live on an island. So
Yeah.
any direction we go, you just hit ocean.
we don't.
eventually.
Yeah, we don't really live in the boonies.
But yeah, it just seems it doesn't. This girl just
I'm just
doesn't
happy
seem
we
like.
reached a happy medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Let's just read the
Was
story.
it 5? Was it 10? I gotta know.
Let's just throw our skepticism in a
Okay.
little disbelief, and let's continue.
the
reading.
logistics are killing me.
We've talked about logistics in other stories before.
I
That's
know.
fucking
I'm
stupid.
joking. You can go
Okay,
ahead.
that last warning seemed a little silly. After all, what was Melinda? A little girl. Alright, seriously? She thanked Granny Royce for her kindness and headed back to the car. About halfway to the car, she remembered thinking she saw something moving in the trees.
How do you forget?
Her eyes scanned both sides of the secluded little clearing area she was in, looking for anything that appeared to be moving on its own rather than being blown by slight wind. She saw nothing. Satisfied, she headed for a car. All 4 tires were flat.
Yep.
They slashed the tires.
God damn it. And I'm not saying that. It's actually in the story, folks. She leaned down and saw long slash marks on each tire.
Oh my God, it's right.
Someone in this little slice of green acres had slashed her tires, and the time took her to find out she had no way of contacting anyone tonight. Okay. Kids
Total
from a
horror
local
picture.
farmhouse gotta be, she thought grimly. Nothing else to do is you might as well go out at night and slash tires. Okay.
At 2 o'clock in the morning?
Hey.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, she's literally...
It's actually close to 3 now.
Okay, it doesn't matter. This girl is fucking stupid.
They're cow tipping.
And I want her to die.
The kids are cow tipping.
She's just said how there's nothing. She's on the only road and there's nothing.
Yeah.
So what fucking farmhouse, what kids are running
I don't
around
know.
the woods at 2 in the morning slashing
This
open
entire
the only
build-up.
door's tires?
This entire build-up has been there's nothing here.
It's fucking stupid. I don't like this story. I don't. I really don't already. The narrator is, or excuse me, not the narrator. The main character is a fucking
This
idiot.
reminds me of a Jeepers Creepers.
A little bit, yeah.
Because like that entire movie, I was like, "What is wrong with you? Just leave!
Just leave.
Just leave! Stop it!"
Well,
you
the
know.
second one they couldn't leave. They
All
were
right,
stuck on the bus.
the first one though was
Yeah.
just infuriating, and then they
Yeah.
leave and they go back.
Yeah, yeah.
We gotta make sure he's dead.
Yeah,
No, you
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
No, you do not.
Don't just keep going.
Oh my gosh, that
I'm
movie
gonna-
drove me
I'm
insane.
gonna read one more.
Go for
She
it.
stopped and let the reality sink in. She wasn't going anywhere tonight. She had no choice now. She had to stay the night here until morning, when hopefully the phone lines would be up and she can call someone. Oh, those rotten kids slashing the phone lines too. And she could call someone from work to ask them to go in for her, and then AMA to get her tires dealt with. She sighed. Ask me anything to get her tires.
It's an
I know.
insurance company. Yeah.
She sighed and walked back to in the house. She could hear Granny Morse as she was walking back to her room. She had already turned off the lights, resigned to her fate. Melinda rang the little bell again. "That you, miss?" she heard Granny Royce say. Go ahead, Bill.
Yes, it's me, she answered. Sorry to be a bother. My name is Melinda Orton. Sorry I never mentioned it before. I guess I will take a room for the night, if the offer's still good. Oh, of course it is, dearie, said Granny Royce, re-entering the room and turning the lights back on. Melinda, oh, that's such a pretty name, honey. Well, let's get you situated.
Oh, make sure to etch it on your gravestone.
You put your name and arrival time in the book there, and I'll get you a key. All the boarding rooms are on the 2nd floor, and there's only a couple left. There are others here? Oh, sorry. There are others here? This was surprising. Not a single car had been in the front lawn when she pulled in. Oh, yes, Miss Melinda. Granny was puttering around in the adjacent room. Mr. Norris, young Calvin there's a few of us here. She came back out with a key in her hand. Just out of curiosity, what made you change your mind? She seemed to brighten as she asked the question, as though relieved that Melinda would stay after all. Oh, it's probably just local kids getting kicks, she said, but I found my tires slashed. Granny stopped suddenly, her face twisted with concern and worry. Then she resumed as though nothing was wrong. Nothing to be done for it, I suppose, she said, with an air of sadness. Well, not until morning, at any rate, said Melinda. Hopefully the lines will be up. Oh, said Granny Royce, distractedly. Yes, hopefully. She led Melinda up the darkened staircase into an empty, quiet hall, or perhaps not so quiet. From one end of the hall came the muffled sound of someone crying. Whoever it was, crying softly, not with anger or petulance or fear, but with deep sadness. It sounded as if crying was something this person was used to, but they were unable to stop. Who is that? She asked, pointing in the direction the crying was coming from. Oh, pay that no mind, honey, said Granny. That's just Mr. Norris. He's been like that a while. Older man, you understand. Not all there. She tapped her temple. I understand, Melinda replied, but wondered privately how an old, out-of-touch man would wind up at a roadhouse. Has he been here long? A while, I'd say, answered Granny. Don't really recall how long exactly. How does he pay for room and board? I guess he doesn't drive, she said to the old woman. Actually, it doesn't look like anyone else here has a car.
That's
What
actually
the fuck are they living in? Holy what?
That's-
I'm trying to figure this out.
that's the one thing I
Like-
did like. I like that description of crying, as in like not like someone
I
like
usually
upset,
hate
but
crying
like
in
just kind of
Creepypasta,
like
But honestly,
I don't know.
I kind of like it. I like the.
I'm fine with the description of crying, as in like if something's Dan's
Okay,
shaking
I
his
haven't-
head
okay,
really
Dan's obviously out of
vehemently
this.
right now.
Fine, Dan's out of this. Whatever. But here's what.
Hey, Dan's opinions are very valid.
Right, but I haven't said mine. So this is mine at the moment. I hate this character, Melinda.
She's the worst.
I don't know what she's
literally
doing.
the worst human being.
You know, I'm not saying this isn't plausible, that someone could be this stupid. It is plausible. It's just, I mean, if this author wants me to root for Melinda, at this point I'm not.
Abject failure.
But at the same time, I am interested in knowing what exactly this is, because now I'm kind of curious as to what this house is, because, you know,
It's the
you
house
think...
that death forgot, John.
And the angel of death came that night, and there was the
Oh,
blood
we
of the
don't
lamb
know.
on the door.
And
Can
then
we-
she woke up.
No, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. And it's that,
At night.
They have not gone that direction. They have not gone that direction at all.
Can we
I wish
put
they
this-
did. We need some biblical creepypasta up in this.
That'd be awesome.
Can we
actually.
can we put a list, the Melinda Orton list of many bad characters in creepypastas?
Yeah, seriously.
It's
official.
Okay,
Any
okay,
bad
no.
characters in
No,
Melinda
no,
Orton.
no. We're reading the
Don't
story
be an
first,
MO.
then we can
Well,
figure
yes,
out later.
we're going to read the story.
Finish
No,
it.
we're stopping right now.
Yeah, we're stopping right. Cancel the podcast.
Alright, where were we?
Granny started at this, or should be stared. Or started. I don't know.
Yeah, it started.
Doesn't look like anyone else has a
started from
car.
the bottom,
He
now she's
doesn't.
here.
Actually, it doesn't look like anyone else here has a car. Granny started at this. That's where we're at.
Granny started at this, looking up with almost a guilty expression. Oh well, she said, that kind of thing is the business of the guest. I don't ask of such things.
Oh my god!
What? What is it? Okay, Dad, I want to know what this is.
Yeah, part like it's
This
part of-
girl, she pulls up at this fucking house.
Okay,
There's no other cars in the road.
right.
There's no other cars.
She wants to ask for
Walks
direction.
in,
She wants to ask
She
for
goes
direction.
in directions. She comes back out of her charge, so she goes back in. There are other people here, and she's in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
But everybody's renting a room here, and they just fucking walked here and explained.
To be fair, at this point, there's not much she can do.
But everything about this is fucking ominous. Why
Yes.
would you? Why?
No, she should
You
be
can't.
sweating bullets right now.
Absolutely.
And to be fair, she did. It was like in italics. How does he pay for room and
Right.
board? Kind
She's
of.
asking these questions and be like, whatever. What?
Yeah, I would do that
no-
too.
All right.
Yes, I would.
Okay, that's not.
You're not
what
in a
you-
situation. This isn't a negotiable situation. You're stuck
No,
here
it's
now.
not. But at the
All right.
same time,
You can be pissed
Dan,
off about it,
Dan,
but you
you
can't do
are-
much here.
Dan, you are right. But to be fair to the story, let's read a little further and find
know.
out how she reacts.
This girl just
You know,
everything she's
You just
doing is-
jumping the gun a
like
little
we,
here.
Like we're talking about, we talked about like characters in other stories that just make really dumb decisions, and every fucking decision this girl's
So
making
far,
is the
she's really
stupidest
she's a
decision
big
humanly
O for
possible.
everything. Yeah,
Right.
it's true.
And it's just I hate that. I hate when
It's
characters
frustrating.
have no fucking
It is.
common sense
She,
or
She is
ignore
giving women bad names.
ignore that voice in their
Damn it,
head that
Dylan.
tells
Okay,
them
all
that
right.
this shit is fucked.
Okay, okay, she goes in the house to look for directions. Okay, I understand that you're frustrated with this character, but I'm fine with everything she's done upon entering the house for the first time. She goes in, she wants directions and a map, she's not going to get them, she doesn't want to stay at the house because it's a creepy little house, she goes outside, her tires are slashed. What do you
I
do
get
from
it.
there?
I get that
No,
she
it-
has
what do you
no-
do
I
from
get
there?
Take the shotgun out of the fucking trunk and shoot the bastard.
I get. I
Dylan,
get
we're
that
not in
she-
Texas.
I get that she
She has a
has.
shotgun.
I get that she has no other option.
Okay.
But what pisses me off is that she clearly understands that there's something going on, or there's
All
something
right.
wrong here,
yeah.
but she keeps brushing it off.
So
or
no,
ignoring
well,
it.
because
That's
that's
what
what-
pisses me off.
All right.
Because
Let's.
this is me.
But she's
I'd
like-
sit in my room and I'd lock the fucking door and I wouldn't sleep a wink.
Maybe
that night.
maybe she'll do that. You know, let's
or
let's
maybe
see
she'll
where it
just
goes.
be like, okay, I can't worry about this.
Yeah,
I
but
have to
there'd
just
be a lot
focus
more
on...
detail of unnecessary detail that I don't want to hear.
Yes, it's just...
It's a slow burn. It's a long build up. It is absolutely. She turned the key in the lock of the room she had led Melinda to and opened the door. Turning on the light, she showed Melinda the quaint little room. Melinda thought it looked like stepping into the past. She could swear this room would have looked modern in the early 50s, at the earliest. Come to think of it, so could the rest of this place, she thought. No wireless service, no computer, that old bell, and those magazines. They looked new, but... The thought was cut off as Granny put the key on the nightstand and started in with instructions. Now the bathroom is down the hallway there. You'll be sharing with the whole floor, so please bear that in mind if you have to go. There's a shower schedule on the door as well.
Schedule.
First come, first serve. You just add your name to the first available line, and that's the order the showers are in. I wouldn't worry about that if I were you, though. I'm sure you'll be first in line. I get up at 6 a.m. sharp every morning and start breakfast. But you come on down whenever you're ready, and I'll whip something up for you. Oh, and one last thing, my dear. I would strongly advise you not to leave the house until sunup. You just never know what could happen out there. In the dark.
Now
At
she- now-
night.
now
At
she-
night, yeah.
Now she tells
She
me.
ruined the ending. Of course, she replied. I'd never go out there in the dark if I didn't have to. She stopped that train of thought right out the gate. After a few moments, she was alone. Alone, without anything to wear to bed and nothing to shower, brush her teeth, or hair with in the morning, she sat on the bed and looked out the window, which faced front. Her car still sat where she had left it, the only thing for miles that seemed like part of her world. And an expensive, overlarge paperweight until I can get a hold of someone, she thought bitterly. Despite the hominess of the room, she felt an unwillingness to rise and shut off the light. Somehow the thought of going to sleep in this backward little room seemed unthinkable. Good. So instead, she continued to sit and stare out the window. A figure in black detached itself from the shadows of the trees and made its way to her car. The hell?
Oh my god.
She jumped up and ran at the window. The figure was tall and seemed to be wearing a cloak made of night. Pfft. She saw as its arm extended. In its hand was a long, jagged dagger. It dragged the dagger across the side of the car, leaving a long gash mark in the paint and metal.
What an asshole.
Hey! She shouted.
seriously.
Hold on. I just want to see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Okay.
Alright. Oh, you want to? Okay, cool.
I don't know if you. Do you want to go? Or you want me to
Yeah,
go?
I'll keep. You can go.
Okay.
I've been
The
reading a
figure
lot.
kept dragging the dagger. She reached for the window to open it. It wouldn't budge. She looked for a lock but couldn't see one. Hey! She yelled again. This time the figure raised its head. She could see the glint of two eyes under the hood. The figure raised the dagger, slowly, determinedly. It pointed it straight at her face. She leapt away from the window and ran for the door. A noise on the other side stopped her. Footsteps. Dragging, shambling footsteps. And crying. The sound of a person for whom deep, longing sadness is a way of life. Mr. Norris! She waited. Somehow, she just felt that she should let the old man pass before she opened the door. Before he got very far, however, she heard other footsteps. They were much quicker and lighter, run up the stairs and stop near the door of her room. Stop it, hissed Granny Morris. Go back in your room right now. You know better. She can't see you yet. Hopefully she won't have to at all. Now you go back in there. You've got no business being out at this hour anyway. What on earth? Oh my god.
So, like, at this point, what this house is just like... I've realized it took me too long to pick up on this, but this house is just from the 50s, right? And it's just like in a time hole or some bullshit.
Right.
This is the house that Death forgot.
Right.
The house, because everything's from like 1940 or something.
Right, so basically...
And they're
probably
all
everybody's
trapped
dead.
souls or
Yeah,
something.
probably.
And Granny's like, who's the gatekeeper for
Right,
Styx?
right,
The River
right.
Styx, god damn it.
I don't remember his name.
I can't remember.
It's Cerberus, actually. You're
Oh,
talking...
who's the boatman?
Oh, the boatman. I've looked up his name before.
It's not
I can't- Something
Virgil.
with a C. No,
No,
it's something with a C, I think.
Talking about the Greek.
Yeah.
Greek
The
guy?
one who leads who rows the boat through the river
Rowboat.
Styx.
I wanted to make
But he has a name.
a nifty mythological reference, and
He
then
has
I
a
couldn't
name.
remember the name because I'm a
We'll Google
scrub.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I really thought that she was immediately going to run outside to stop this guy. Like, I was waiting for that.
And then Granny Royce ran outside
Right.
and punched that guy
Right.
with an uppercut.
No, like
and
Melinda
beat
was
him.
gonna run outside, like, "Ah!" And like this guy's got like just based on the stupid choices she's making.
Yeah.
Especially after the granny said that.
You see that shit happening? You take pictures, you bunker down,
Yeah, exactly.
you board up the windows.
Board up the windows, the door, and you grab whatever weapon you can
Yep.
find.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess in the moment though, like if you saw someone coming at your car with a dagger, you don't think grab phone, take picture. You think run up to window and say hey, and then try to open the window and scream at the person
Yeah.
doing stuff. I mean, we're looking at this from afar. Like,
We're armchair.
if I was in this situation,
But you know-
I would take my cell phone out, and then I would call the police.
No,
and
no,
take the
no,
phone lines
but-
down,
but-
and then I would take a picture of the guy, so
No,
that we can
but-
arrest him later.
Look, she's made a series of incredibly stupid decisions,
Oh, yes,
and this
absolutely.
is just another one. That's all.
No, this isn't dumb.
John, she
What's
went to leave her room, and she only stopped because Mr. Slave Man was.
That's true. Mr.
Can I
Crying
answer your
Man, Mr.
question?
Norris.
Charon.
What?
Charon is the guy.
Charon.
Thank you.
Charon.
I got you, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There you go.
All right, so that's
I knew something with a
that's
C.
what Granny is.
Yeah. Okay.
We got there.
All right.
Hey, analogy.
How could that sweet old woman talk to another human that way, let alone an old man with a foggy mind? She really thinks that she's talking to.
Keep
What
going.
would you think,
Whatever.
honestly, if you're in this
I would.
situation?
Okay.
You think
Well,
ghosts?
she said
You would think ghosts right now.
She said
This
what?
is a really contentious podcast.
No, she said that she saw the old man shuffling by very slowly, dragging his feet, and then she heard quick footsteps. She thinks that's the same person that Granny's talking to? Come on.
Jacob
I would
Murray?
immediately assume that it was the fucking dude with the dagger. She's like, oh, why would she talk to him? Whatever.
just power through it.
She almost opened the door right then, but somehow her hand stopped and waited until the shuffling crying man had made his way back down the hallway.
Good.
She heard his door open. She opened her own door just in time to see his foot shod in the well-worn house shoe slide into his room. The door closed softly after him. That poor man, she thought. Oh, go ahead, Dylan.
But now she was determined to find out what was going on. The punk outside in the Halloween costume slashing up her car, followed by Granny yelling at an old man, made her begin to understand that not all was well here. She went back down to the front desk area, which was completely unlit except for the moonlight and porch light
Maybe it
coming
was the
through the
granny
window.
going up the stairs. I don't know.
There was, however, a light near the back room that Granny Royce had emerged from before. Melinda paused to take a look outside the front window. The maniac with the dagger was nowhere to be seen at the moment, but she was now determined that it was he that she had seen moving through the trees. He could have killed me. She strode in the direction of the light, seeing that.
Okay, you know what? I think I'm starting to realize why Dan's getting this because it's starting to happen to me.
This is ridiculous.
I like the setting of this a lot. I
It's
like
fine.
the idea of this. But this character sucks.
She's an imbecile.
Oh my-
Could have killed me. No shit.
Okay, she was like, I saw the guy stabbing my car and I realized something might not be right. Are you?
I
just
still think
realized that.
I still
Thank
think
you,
this story
Sean.
I still think this story so far
The story's
is
fine.
it's
The
interesting.
setting's
It has
fine.
potential. It's not
She's
over.
a fucking idiot character, and she
I
says
still-
the most
I'm
stupid,
interested
obvious
in this-
bullshit I've ever fucking heard.
I'm
a
interested in
character
this
say.
character, and I'm leaving this on my fucking chest. But Melinda, what the actual fuck are you doing?
He could have killed me. The sky is
Then get back in your room!
grass is green. Like,
What on
seriously?
earth? That poor man. You don't
Why was
think?
it days?
You don't think? Even if you saw the most poorest man in the world, you don't think that poor man, 30 seconds after seeing a man slash up your
Right.
fucking tires,
Right. And fucking stab your car and then point the knife at you!
For real.
on.
And I was just
I'm not-
looking for him.
I'm not finished. I'm sorry.
John, come
I'm sorry if I don't sound generous, but if someone's pointing a knife at me, I'm not exactly thinking of others,
I really want...
especially strangers.
You're hiding.
I really want this girl to die. But
Me
in
too.
this
She
story,
does.
She fucking
Mine.
sucks.
I hope she becomes a permanent resident.
We're gonna have a list named after her. It's gonna be great.
It was just a permanent
But
resident.
again, I have to reiterate that I like this idea of a story. I like
Yeah, it's
this.
not
I
bad,
like
it's
this
just-
house. I like this idea. I think with this granny character,
This
is kinda
character
cool.
could have been developed
Because-
way better.
No, this.
It's
I
not-
like.
it's
I
not
like
Give
this.
her a brain.
It's
I
not-
like
it's
the
not
granny
just-
character because it's like in a stereotypical horror story. It's like, oh, good evening. Oh, I try. Like she's like ominous, but
It's
like
just this
nice.
character's
This is
just
just a
not written
genuine.
well.
She sounds genuine. Like
Yeah, the
she's
grandma's
nice.
not. The grandma is trope defying, which is nice, since
Right.
nothing else in this story is.
Right.
You remember that scene in
He
Young
could have
Frankenstein?
killed... Like, this just broke me.
Remember-
He could have killed me! No shit!
You remember the scene in
Oh
Young
my
Frankenstein
God.
when Igor took the wrong brain, took the abnormal
Abby
brain?
Normal,
Abnormal?
yeah.
Did you, and this is basically us saying that. Did you take an abnormal brain
Yeah,
and
seriously.
put it in a 7-foot monster?
Put
Wow.
it in a shitty protagonist.
Yes.
All right, let's. All right, I'm gonna wait. Is it my turn?
No, is it...
Let me finish.
Okay,
one more.
yeah.
Yeah.
She strode in the
Sorry.
direction.
I went off on a tangent.
Let's get through this.
Yeah.
She strode in the direction of the light, seeing that it was the light to the kitchen. She kept going, expecting to find Granny Royce still puttering about, with whatever an old innkeeper did with herself during the early hours of the morning.
Wink.
Instead, she found
Well,
Granny
I
sitting-
don't want any interruptions right now. Please, just fucking go, Dylan. Please.
Instead, she found Granny sitting with a young man of about 20. He had dark hair and a scruff of stubble, and was wearing a dark brown corduroy shirt and khakis, along with a pork pie hat. He looked like he was ready to go sell newspapers on a street corner in the 30s. He was quietly sipping tea while Granny was admonishing him from the other end of the table. Now that was a horrible thing to say, she said. When I was your age, young men minded their manners. That's a laugh talking about my age, muttered the young man with a sneer. And just how old are you? Do you even remember?
Oh shit.
Ooh.
They're all dead.
They're all just
They're
dead.
all-
they're
from the
dead.
50s.
They're all dead.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
Someone's coming from a mile
we,
fucking
we
way.
just said that already. Yeah.
Calvin Davidson, you are in trouble, young man.
You are
She
trouble.
hissed back. You are trouble, young man. Neither had noticed Melinda yet. Are they fighting? That's Melinda's dog.
Yeah.
Are they fight? Oh god, fuck you.
Brown. It's like she looks at the sun. Yellow. This is a robot. This is a robot that was programmed incorrectly, and now she's like, can't
No,
find
no,
directions.
that's the real
No,
twist.
no, this was a robot that was programmed to be the protagonist of a horror story.
Should have fucking the first automaton built in the 50s.
Alright, let's keep going.
Seems to be danger. I will head towards it.
One of these days, you're going to say something you'll regret. Oh, come on, Granny. What could I possibly say that will make things worse than they already are? Actually, if he's from the 50s, it's like, yeah, see? You know, like that voice.
Sure.
I mean,
right.
look up at old Norris up there. Both of us are, hello, miss. I didn't know we had anyone else here. He had just seen Melinda. Hi, she said.
So, like, what do you think Mr. Norris is? Like a suicide? Like he's got a noose around his neck, or like he blew off half his
Jacob
face with
Marley.
a shotgun? Or some bullshit, because clearly they're not showing him for some reason. Like, he's
Yeah.
really mangled or some shit. That's how he died.
His hands cut off.
Yeah, something stupid like that.
She had a feeling that she'd be walking into an old argument. Oh, I'm sorry. She had a feeling she walked into an old argument the two of them had many times, and that did not concern her. Her fear and anger were forgotten for a moment. Calvin had been talking to Granny like a sullen kid, but something about what they said seemed wrong. Can I help you, Melinda? Granny Royce said. Is there something wrong with your room? That brought her back. No, I am not programmed to feel emotions. Beep, boop, beep.
I'm just.
The room is fine, but nothing else is.
I can't.
I
Wait
mean, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do
I
this.
Yeah,
can't
please
wait-
don't.
I can't wait to listen back to this and count how many fucking times I've sighed while reading the story.
God. The room is fine, but nothing else is. I mean, what on earth do you even have on the roadhouse out here? And where it seems like there's... And why does it seem like no one ever stops by? Why are most of the rooms full of even... I can't even read. Why are most of the rooms full, even though mine is the only car out here? Why did I hear you talking to Mr. Norris like he was a dog? And why would you want to make sure I didn't see him?
And why is the sky
Bitch.
blue? And why is the grass is green?
She could go no further before Calvin cut her off. Good Lord, she's not even been here a night and she can see it. Why did you even let her in, Granny? Why don't you just bolt the door? Hell, if I could go take down that sign, don't you think I would have by now? Lord love a duck. That's something you don't hear many young men say, thought Melinda, like an idiot. She decided to ignore Calvin for a moment.
ignore her
otherwise.
Stupidly.
I
thought
ignore
Melinda.
her on that thought.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I agree with her on that thought, that I would probably think like that. Except I'm a little annoyed. See, a human would still be scared and angry that someone slashed
Yeah.
a car
No.
with the dagger and then ran into the... In fact, I would suspect
No.
that Calvin over there might be
No,
that
hang
person
on,
with the
hang
knife.
on, wait a fucking minute. She comes down to this room and she goes, Granny, why were you talking mean to Mr. Norris? Not, Granny, someone stabbed my fucking car! Like, what the fuck, Melinda?
Granny, why did you talk so mean to Mr. Norris?
Like, come on,
Oh
priorities!
yeah, by the way, somebody slashed my car outside
and
and
pointed a
me
knife
with a
at me?
Did you know anything about that?
Do you know, does that ring a bell or something?
This author might be a genius saying, what if I make a story that's so good, but I just make it infuriating?
Main character,
Because
the main
I-
protagonist is
I see why the story has like generally positive reviews.
Maybe it is an amazing twist at the end. Maybe we're all wrong.
Let's go. Keep going.
Let's like,
And
yeah.
she was in a coma.
See, the thing is,
whole
it's
time.
super
She
long.
woke up.
Like, this is like
and then a
a
skeleton popped out.
like the build up.
Skull trumpet.
Oh
This
my God.
reminds me of a movie that I watched recently. What the fuck is it called? You Are Next. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's a horror movie, and it's
Goldberg's in it?
no. Basically, it's the opposite of what this protagonist is. Imagine a home invasion movie
Yeah.
with like a family in a mansion and people invade the house, but there's one person that knows exactly how to defend herself
Yeah.
and just fucks everybody up for the rest of the movie. This is like the exact opposite of that protagonist, where she's so fucking
We
stupid.
need to watch that to
She's
detox.
just- oh my god, it's really good, but like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. We found it. And besides that, there's someone out there. He's the
Oh, now
Yep.
she gets through.
and by the way, he's the freak who slashed my tires, and he's been out there messing up my car since then. Yeah. And you can't even call the police. Are you going to tell me you've never had vandals out here before? There was a long pause in the room. Neither Granny nor Calvin seemed willing to break it. Calvin scratched at his neck. For the first time, Melinda noticed a red slash at his throat, half hidden by his collar. It looked like either a very fresh scar or a slightly healed wound.
Still open wound.
He's still hiding the knife.
Listen, miss, I don't know your name, he finally said.
Fuck access.
Melinda, she told him. Melinda, he repeated. Melinda, I think you should sit down. I have to tell you something that you may find troubling.
I slashed your tire.
And now I'm going to slash you!
I'm going to fuck you up, bitch. You can do that.
Melinda did not like how he said that. She also didn't like the way his tone had switched from sullen child to serious adult. He looked several years her junior, but he was talking to her like he was her uncle or her boss. Oh, that's right, I have a job I have to get to. He swallowed a sip of tea and sighed. Then he looked her straight in the face and said, "The reason I don't have a car out there is that when I got here, no one my age, no one in my line of work would have owned a car. It would have seemed like an impossible dream."
Oh, don't tell me.
Let's figure out how long it takes Melinda to realize what the fuck he's saying. What? What are you talking about? She asked hesitantly. I worked in a textile mill, he said. The mill was shut down by the time I got here. Most businesses were. So I struck out on my own, a drifter looking for what work I could find, and I stopped here. Forever.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Fuck you, Story!
That's horrible.
You, John, for picking
That's
it.
horrible.
Fuck
I've never
everyone.
heard
Wait. I know.
And I stopped here forever.
It would have been better with ... forever.
At night.
At night.
Just my god.
Roadhouse.
Oh my god.
Businesses were shut down. I don't understand. Said, oh, fuck you. This might be better than the other one we've got. We're having a rough time of it right now, but businesses are mostly staying open. Not then they weren't, said Calvin sadly. I arrived here, ... in 1929. Melinda blinked. Something had exploded behind her eyes.
Short-circuiting.
Gets her fucking brain actually working for once.
Short-circuiting.
It's like the rodent that was like asleep on the wheels, like, yep, it starts running.
Also, that's not how you would react to that statement, even if it was true.
Yeah, that's a weird
My
metaphor.
reaction would be,
Shut the
you're
fuck
full
up,
of shit.
Right,
Like
something
that.
had
And then, like...
Yeah, what kind of
and then,
phrase is that?
the way
Something
that you do it-
exploded behind her eyes. What does that even
You know,
mean?
her reaction, a person's reaction wouldn't be dumbfounded. It'd be like, haha, good one.
Yeah.
And then, like, they'll gradually show evidence, and then you'll slowly realize...
Let's be real here. We're dealing with the dumbest protagonist ever fucking
Right. So, you know, you set the bar low and aim lower, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, Dylan, just...
This place was new then, said Granny.
Melinda blinked. Something like... Oh, sorry. That was,
Yeah, we read
sorry,
it.
my
Yeah,
mistake.
we read it.
This place was new then, said Granny. My man and I had just opened it, and young Mr. Calvin was a sweet young lad of 16. I offered to take him on as hired help over my husband's objections. Well, my husband was a well-meaning man, but he knew how to pinch a penny. 'Twas a year after I took Calvin on that Mr. Royce died. Calvin and I have been here ever since, and every few years or so, someone joins us. Yep, Calvin broke in. Miss Tilly was first. She was a woman of ill repute who ran here, pregnant and scared that the man who'd run her trade up in New York was going to find her and kill her. She and that baby. He broke off, now seeming on the point of tears. And then, said Granny, there was Mr. Standish. He was a traveling minister. He doesn't travel anymore. Mr. Norris got here in '69, said Calvin. His story is probably the worst. He was a bank robber. You see, he carried a pistol, and he didn't like learning how long we'd all been here. He paused, stood, and walked to the kitchen window. He tried to leave on his own, you see. He ain't the first to try it. That was me, actually. I warned him not to try, but he wouldn't listen. But when he got outside, and he met him. Calvin hissed. Calvin hissed Granny. We don't talk about this.
So is death outside? Is that what we're getting
Hey,
at?
what you guys doing?
I just...
Well, I got my stuff here.
let's just power through the exposition and get to the end so we can...
Yeah.
John, you wanna...
She's got to know, said Calvin. There's no point in her finding out slowly.
Pretty slow.
There's still a chance for her, said Granny in a staged whimper. All she has to do is wait until morning. She's not going to wait until morning, said Calvin, with some remorse in his voice. No one ever waits until morning.
Evil.
The fact that she came down here is proof enough of that. Besides, what good would that have really done for her? Her car is useless. We have no phones here. There was no phone when this place went up, and there won't never be a phone here. You know that. Okay, stop, Melinda shouted. That's enough. Now, you can't keep me prisoner here, and I have no intention of staying any longer. Only that knife-wielding maniac out there is keeping me from running up this road in this minute. Now, I need to know what's really going on here, and I need to know it now. We've been telling you, Calvin said. Granny may not want you to know everything, but you need to, because you won't be leaving. Oh, we're not trying to keep you prisoner. I don't even care if you run out the door right now, but you'll never leave this house again afterwards. Like hell I won't, said Melinda. Yelled Melinda.
Listen, child, said Granny, rising from her spot at the table. Listen, please. None of us mean you any harm, my dear, not even Mr. Norris. There's scant he can do any more, and he knows it. That's why he's up there crying all the time. But we're stuck here, all of us. I hoped there was a chance for you to run for it in the morning, but Calvin's right. There's no guarantee you'd be safe in the morning anyhow. What the hell is wrong with this place? Choked out Melinda. She was beginning to break down. She could feel the tears welling in her eyes. It was about a month after Mr. Royce died, said Calvin, when he came. He was wearing that long black robe and carrying that ridiculous dagger. I saw him when I was trimming the hedges in the back. I told him he needed to get out of here because I didn't like his look. He moved so fast I never saw it coming. And he got me. From here, Calvin touched his neck, to here. He touched his lower abdomen on the opposite side from the neck slash. He began to undo his shirt. Melinda almost vomited.
Oh, God.
Please. Under his shirt was a long, ugly slash that went deep, and was still seeping blood. She could see bone, muscle, and intestines wriggling within the mangled ruin. I died that night,
It was hyper-realistic.
said Calvin. Yeah.
At least it didn't go there.
You know, we could have just had blood.
But I didn't. The next thing I knew, I was being dragged into the house by Granny, and when I woke up, I nearly scared her to death. She was sure that I was gone. The thing is, I was. But I was awake. I could talk, walk, do anything I could while alive. Well, except take any enjoyment or nourishment from food or drink anymore. I still drink the tea because it keeps my skin from turning ash gray. I learned that about 50 years ago. He didn't go away, though, Granny broke in. I went out to deal with him, carrying my axe. He took my axe and buried it in my back. I won't show you the wound, honey. Calvin shouldn't have shown you his either. No one should have to see it. But that's how he works, Melinda, continued Calvin. He's got that knife, but if you try to use a weapon on him, he just moves like he does and takes it from you. You never stand a chance. He'll use whatever weapon you try to take him down with to end you. Mr. Norris learned that the hard way. This is not happening. Melinda was ready to break down. She had to hold it together. She had to get out of here somehow. Nothing about this was right. Nothing about it could be real. It was all a dream. Too much didn't make sense. Her father calling her out of the blue, her leaving to go to him without a second thought, getting lost so quickly and so irreversibly, no cell phone service anywhere on the road, this place, everything about it. She was dreaming. That had to be it. But if so, she was going to survive this dream. She turned and ran for the stairs. Her purse was still in her room, but she was going to grab it and go. She'd had enough.
Protesting voices began babbling behind her. She cared not one whit. Mr. Norris was waiting at the top of the stairs. Contrary to Granny Royce's description, he was not old at all. No more than about 40. But she saw instantly what she meant by not all there. The top half of Mr. Norris's head looked normal, like a reasonably attractive man with dark hair peppered with gray here and there. His eyes, a clear green, were moist with fresh tears. The lower half of his face was a ruin of bone, fucking called it, shredded muscle and blood. So much blood.
Hyper-realistic.
His
almost.
arm hung on a few hanging strings of muscle. His hip was just as much a mess of bone and blood as his face was. He kept his one good hand on the banister as he shuffled towards her. Behind him stood a young woman in a bra and a pair of panties. Her stomach was cut open, and looking out of the womb with bright, intelligent eyes was the amazing baby.
Fuck. Jesus
All right,
Christ, that got me.
It's got a little interesting.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The mangled fetus.
It just took a while.
Rita's
I've never been this pissed off at a story. And the reason why is because I really like this idea.
This is a good concept.
You
It's
know what's
fine.
funny?
But this fucking character sucks!
Hang on,
This came out into my head just now.
With
Hear
the
me out.
bright, intelligent eyes was
wait.
the mangled.
Yeah,
I
is
like
it
that.
live?
I like
Yeah.
that.
I
Bright,
guess so.
intelligent.
This is what
I
came to
guess
my
so.
head as soon as I just realized, I'm like, this is kind
That's
of like
the one gem of
this
this
is like-
fucking story.
this is like Family Guy gotten serious, where you have death,
Yeah,
and then you have Meg being that stupid protagonist who doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, and then it gets serious. I'm like, this is exactly something
Okay.
Family Guy would do.
Melinda turned and bolted for the front door. Her hand was just closed around the knob when Calvin rushed to her, placing his freezing cold hand over hers. "They're not going to hurt you," he said quickly. "But he will. If you step out for so much as a moment, he will kill you. And it will hurt. It will go on hurting forever. For a while you learn to function with the pain, but it never goes away." Sobbing, she asked the question she'd been afraid to ask since coming here. "Who is he?"
Daddy?
"We don't know," said Granny from behind Calvin. "He just came here and won't go away. He likes to watch us and do things to incite us to come
Entice
out.
us to come
Yeah,
out.
and
Insight is the right
it's
word.
spelled- Is it?
Insight.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was entice. They come out again. As soon as someone does, he hurts them more. But no matter how many times he kills us, we won't die. Believe me when I say we all wish we could. Alright, that's kind of cool. I'm just gonna finish it if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Power
Go
through
ahead.
it. Power
Dude,
through
I'm
it.
Melinda. Me too, buddy. Me too.
We're close.
Melinda had enough of this. She pushed Calvin away and threw open the door. He was standing on the porch. The knife was held out in front of him just at face level. Melinda ran into him
Of course she did.
him at a rush.
Of course
The
she
knife
did.
punctured her right eye, and its tip slipped on through out the other side. She just managed to see the grinning, pure white face of her killer before everything went black. A few hours later, the house erupted with screams from upstairs as Melinda awoke to a world of pain, the like of which she has never known.
Ugh.
And
That
that's
was
It
We
took
made
you
it.
that long to make the story interesting.
Oh my god.
God.
a lot of...
Wow.
people really like this story.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm telling you, yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks her father is him? One of the comments says.
Oh yeah. Well, for fuck's sake, her father.
Okay, thank you, Gongoro. My biggest issue is Melinda's stupidity and what was the meaning behind her dad called her.
All right. Yeah.
Nothing.
Let's not read the comments right now for like the second. Just kind of.
I don't know.
I don't think I have anything to say about
I
it.
can understand...
can't.
Okay, I'll say
fucking
something then.
Hated this story.
Me too.
Hated
Okay,
it.
I did not hate it.
Hated it.
I just didn't like
Horrible.
the character. I think that this story had a really good idea. It spent way too much time building up to the cool little idea that it had.
The pacing was fucked.
It was. It absolutely was.
Oh yeah.
That pacing
The
was
the whole beginning of the story, like the estranged relationship with her father and her
nothing
mother,
to do with anything.
Nothing to do with anything.
Nothing to
I
do
don't
with
mind the-
anything.
I don't mind the
driving
okay.
home in
Okay.
an unfamiliar area. That was way too much detail. And I just
I do think that the excuse for her going out made sense to me. It's just they built this up as this long thing where like, you know, you'd think it would have some meaning in the end.
Yes.
But there's
Look, I don't-
nothing there.
I don't like Chekhov's gun as like a hard and fast rule. You know, the idea that you can't have things in a story that don't pertain to the plot. But my God, if you're going to spend
way too much
so
time.
long building up this fractured relationship with her parents.
and I guess they were establishing the character to sort of make you feel sorry for her. But the fact of the matter is, once she got to the house, the fucking decisions that she made, and ignoring all the shit that was going on, and ignoring all these bad feelings she was getting.
The real poor decision
completely ruined all that.
pre-house.
Pre-house, yes, that's where
Those were the poor decisions came
Also,
in.
her inner thoughts don't make sense.
Oh my God.
Seeing a man slash your
She's
car,
like an
you
idiot.
should not care. Like, if I'm that person, you can cut this story in half just by saying,
Yeah, but John,
erase
she
the conversation.
she couldn't
And
go
just say,
outside
I
because
don't
then
give a-
she'd see Mr. Norris all blown apart, and that would ruin the story. It's like
because I
the
like
convenience issue.
I think what I would like
Because
what
the
I
big
think it
deal.
should have done is after like she sees the guy stabbing her car, she runs to the basement and she sees the granny and Calvin, and then they start talking about why she can't leave.
Wait, can we talk about her reaction to run face first into a
the
knife?
right?
No weaponry. They're like, he's dangerous. Don't go
He's
out
standing
there.
on the porch. You could have just
She
like ducked
grabs
into the
her
porch.
purse
Right.
and runs at him.
Right.
I feel like
Seriously? At least Mr.
I
Norris
like-
had like a weapon.
I
The
like.
author wrote-
Here's what I like. Here's what I like. You know what? Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Thank you. The author wrote this as like to make the protagonist like the most over the top cliche of stupid protagonist. Doesn't know what the fuck she's doing.
Yep.
Right.
So everything that can go wrong goes wrong, and she's like, "What? What?" And then she just runs headfirst.
Right.
Fucking
Do a knife.
I like the idea of the story.
Yep.
And now that I've read it, I'm thinking back to the podcast that I listened to this on. I forgot what
This
it was
reminds
called.
me of
But no,
another
there
movie
was
I watched.
but the person said that if there was Creepypasta they would want to make it into a movie, it would be this. Now I assume in the
The
movie
character's
you
too fucking
make
stupid.
Melinda into a much more intelligent
Right,
character,
right.
and I can see this, but I can see this being a movie. I absolutely can.
A bad movie.
A short film.
Oh,
yeah.
come on.
This reminds me, for whatever reason, I guess it
It's
reminds
a
me.
cool
It reminds me
concept.
of.
It could be done
It
well.
kind of reminds me of 13 Ghosts, Like you have all these different ghosts with like different mangled, and like you're basically seeing.
No,
them, like,
I like
rogues
this
gallery.
idea where you're trapped in the house and you don't feel any pain, but if you go outside, you get killed and you constantly feel pain.
Well,
You're trapped in the house anyway.
that's what I like about
And
the
it's-
story. I like
and instead of it being a haunted house where all the ghosts trying to get her, it's a bunch of ghosts trying to
keep her.
Come on,
right,
please,
to
you
keep her
gotta.
alive.
It's not. I know we did this to you, but you gotta stay in the house.
I like that idea, and I also like that they keep their wounds, and I like that they feel pain forever.
Yeah.
That's cool. But just everything else.
It took
about
so
the
long
story-
for us to get there.
Happened
Right.
in like,
and the climax happened like this.
Yep.
There's
The
so much
climax
build up, and then it
happened
just
down
happens.
here.
The last
Very end of the
paragraphs,
story.
Right,
Look at this. The
Yeah, but
climax
here's
happened
the
like
thing.
around this part.
And then it's so anticlimactic because she just dies. She's
Yeah,
just
but
like,
if they don't
Well,
die,
honestly, that's what we
she
all
doesn't
wanted.
no, she doesn't die.
but
She
if
just
they
feels a lot of
don't-
pain.
If they don't die
She
in the house,
Yeah, Dylan.
if they don't die in the house, then what's stopping them from going outside the house during the morning and dying?
Because the man's there.
He's there all the time,
he's
Dylan.
Yes.
there. He just
So-
he's basically death. But why would death keep them there?
But
It's not
no,
death,
this
it's
is
not
the-
race.
no, this is
It's
the
a
house-
mysterious
to
ghost
me,
figure.
to me, I think it's death.
Hey,
Based the way
this
they
is the
describe
house that Death forgot, though.
it. Right.
That's why they can't die.
Well, no, because I think the idea is that when they die, they don't like just end.
They
life.
don't die,
whether
right.
you're religious or not. Like you go
they,
to heaven
they get the
or
wounds
hell,
and they
or
feel them forever.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
thing
why
they
it's the
don't-
house
It's
that
like
Death
the Family
forgot.
Guy episode. They don't die. They
Yeah.
feel pain, but they don't die.
It's like I think it's like more. It's resembling
Purgatory.
purgatory. Yeah,
Right.
The
purgatory.
problem is that
Purgatorio.
the coolest
For-
parts
yeah,
of this
people get
story
killed.
just are never built upon. Like you could have cool things about the different ghosts with ailments, and they're just referenced quickly at the end. You could do
Yeah.
something cool
Yeah.
with this strange character who is never fleshed out, explained in any way.
Right.
There's nothing there. He's literally the
He spent
boogeyman.
the first act of this story talking about the relationship between her father and
Right!
mother.
They focus
And
on all
there's
the wrong
nothing.
things.
Right.
All the wrong
It could've-
things are
and
focused
I
on.
get that's her setting up for her to find the house, but it could have literally been anything.
It could have been.
It could have been I was
I had-
drunk and I missed a turn and
Yeah.
I drove
This
into the
sounds
woods.
just like a plot. This sounds like a script that was rejected by Hollywood.
Everyone.
By everyone, because it was like,
I want to reject this.
why are you putting this in the beginning of the fucking story?
She's just not likable at all.
Horrible
Her
character.
character's awful.
This is like, sometimes I'm like, okay, this story sucks. This story's good. This story just makes me angry because I swear I like the Grady character a lot. I even like this Calvin guy. They didn't build the Calvin guy character up at all. He could have been interesting.
I just realized something.
What?
The very first season of American Horror Story had this exact plot.
Yes, it did.
It did.
Yeah!
That everybody that
Shit.
died in that house couldn't leave.
Yup.
There wasn't a demon outside,
Wow.
but they couldn't leave.
They
the
just couldn't
house.
leave because
they couldn't
spirit.
Leave. They would open the door and walk out, and they'd be in the house again.
Well,
Yeah.
now we got to figure out
And
when the story
honestly-
was written versus
Right.
when.
I mean,
It was the same thing.
That's
and
almost-
and there was a lot of cool imagery in that, especially when spoiler alert, you haven't
Romance.
seen it, but when the girl like she dies.
Yeah.
She like kills herself, but she doesn't. And they don't remember. They don't remember dying.
Yeah.
She kills herself. She doesn't remember. And then they show her like horribly fucking like decomposing corpse in the crawl space. That was like the most fucked up moment in that season.
yeah.
And that's the only, in my opinion, the only good season of American Horror Story.
They
But it's the
kinda went
same-
weird.
It's the same thing. To me, yeah, it's the
Yep.
same exact type of premise. Where all
Except,
these
like,
ghosts live in this
imagine
house
if it
and they
was
can't leave.
executed well.
Right.
Okay, I gotta say
Okay, guys,
something.
if you like this, just go watch that season of American Horror
The
Story.
first season of
It's
American Horror
actually
Story.
done well.
It's pretty good.
But even
It's
like
sexy and violent.
Okay,
Yeah.
like, believe it or not, in an age long ago when I read the first paragraph of this story, remember how
10 years ago.
I sounded like a person who could not read because I tripped up on this sentence. Short trips to the store if she just realized she
It's
ran
not-
out of
it's not-
tampons or
it's
something.
not written
Why
well.
include the
Why?
fucking-
Yeah. Why was that necessary?
I understand she's a girl, but
It's not written well.
Look, there's
Why?
nothing
But
wrong.
She has a vagina, John, and it bleeds once a month.
There's nothing wrong.
I don't know if you
Oh,
know
I
this.
see it.
She does have
Tampons stop bleeding in vaginas, and she bleeds at the end of the story.
That's
it's
from a different hole.
Oh
I-
my God.
I feel like I feel like it's wrong.
I fucking hated this story.
I don't agree with calling out maybe like one or two sentences. Like, there's nothing wrong with flavor text in a story to flesh
I
things
get
out.
it.
It's
This
just
is
something I
big,
never-
It's
big.
just a lot of
The
fluffy
big
shit.
picture focus is so radically off, and the pacing is so goddamn slow. And then it jumps to 11 for one paragraph, and then it's over. And the way the story has a good concept and ignores everything that's cool about it, instead to focus on a fucking horrible cliche protagonist who's an imbecile, is just. This was horrible. This was horrible to sit
What were you
through.
gonna say?
this, like, I'm looking at this right now. I am picturing right now. Someone sent this to. It's gonna send this to Family Guy. Make an hour-long episode.
You are really stuck on the Family Guy thing.
Yeah, it's just gonna have that. They're gonna have freaking Herbert be the fucking guy. That's
Almost dead. No, Herbert should be the fucking death or whatever.
The granny.
Yeah.
Almost dead.
No, but he doesn't kill them. He just takes them to his house, and they're never seen again.
Yep.
And we don't know what happens to them. That would be more horrifying, actually.
Or no, he
So I
takes
can see Meg playing the part of the stupid protagonist of this
Here's
thing. I'm like,
Here's
oh.
the thing. I, as someone who reads quite often, who went to school basically for reading, I try to give everything I read the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
There's only maybe one or I would say maybe 3-4 things tops that I've read that I've absolutely hated. Like, completely. And this has been added to the fucking list. I hated everything about this story. Everything.
Do you agree?
And but I will agree that the setup, the actual the house or whatever, the setting and whatever, cool. But everything fucking else, the cliche
problem
writing,
is-
the shoving it, how stupid the protagonist in our face has to spell everything out for us because she's a fucking idiot, and it's just nothing worked in this story.
Everything wrong with this story is connected to its main character. I like seriously.
Yeah.
Like if you improve the main character, you fix 90% of the issues.
The pacing.
The
Nope.
internet-
Pacing
also,
and
yes,
some
that's
of the
part of the
writing,
problem.
some
It
of the
focuses
writing,
entirely on her.
But that is entirely on the character
Just
too.
'cause
The
of
right,
this-
the worst writing is based on what the fucking
Yeah.
character's saying. and
Yep.
thinking.
Just
It's almost like
story.
this. It's almost
Yeah.
like they built it. He wanted to really build up this thing, and then he says that he says, "I don't know how to end this." Runs into knife.
Yeah, the ending was fucking phoned in as
Right.
fuck.
Dude, just from this, I'm gonna write a list. It's gonna be called the Melinda Orton list. And every time we read a creepypasta, whoever's a stupid protagonist, we're putting on that.
Add it to the Melinda
Orton
list,
That
yep.
Melinda list, and then we're gonna rate them and see which one was fucking worse.
This left such a bad taste.
It really, this was a draining experience.
It really was.
We were all ready to tap
Well,
out
we
by the
joined-
halfway
it really
point.
was.
It's like we do it a scale from Melinda to Charles Watts, a funny mouth. Like
Yeah.
Charles is the high point and Melinda's the low point.
Oh my
I
And we
don't
god.
rate the characters
We
between the
are
two.
going with Melinda's list.
Let me
Yep.
I don't give a shit.
Let me ask
Yeah.
you something on a related topic, but kind of different because I just want to get the fuck away from this story.
Yeah.
Sure.
If I'm gonna ask everybody in the room, out of all the stories we read, which creepypasta, I guess monster you could say, would you think that each of us are?
What?
This is for-
What?
Like say
well, he's Lumberjack Dan.
I would be Lumberjack
I
Dan.
don't know.
Who do you think you would be?
Based on what
Based
like
on
the,
what we've
the,
read.
the 12 stories we've
Yeah,
read?
yeah.
We can get some
Only
fan
3 of
art.
them have like real monsters.
Yeah,
in
but
them.
I mean, you know.
I mean,
But-
sir,
but
what,
what character-
okay.
What character?
John's the guy who filmed all the normal porn stuff.
Yeah, see?
Because he's a pervert
There
and a
you go.
freak.
Okay, now it's just Will and I.
Okay, now William is Charles Watts, Lemon Limeskull. He's an anger problem.
Okay,
I
so
wanna-
your funny mouth, the new and improved
Oh no,
funny
Dan!
mouth.
All right.
Oh, I should be. No, I was pissed off. I don't know. I think
No, you're the
I
porn
might be Charles
recorder.
Watts.
Sorry.
Dylan's Melinda.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Oh man,
Perfect.
That's a horrible
That is the
insult.
cruelest thing you
That
could
is
say.
so cruel. Oh god.
so bad. No,
Jesus Christ.
no, you're no. He'll be like Ghost Jorge, the guy who's just there but not really knowing what's going on. Like there's horror happening. Like there's this funny mouth guy, quick, and it was like, "Where the hell are you, Charles?" Like,
Yeah. I mean,
Oh man.
I'd
Maybe
say.
the smiling man because he likes the Joker so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I'd say we should
Or the
do.
little girl with the devil from No Man's House.
dude, I actually, I'll discuss off when the podcast's done, but
Yeah.
I'll let you guys know on something.
say it now. What,
Oh.
about what?
I can get my cousin to make fan art of us, Lumberjack Dan.
that'd
No,
be
we're
cool.
not. We're not.
Oh yeah. I already
Cool.
said- I mean, look, I'd say we should ask for closing thoughts. I think we've all kind of we're all
I
tapped out.
shit on the entire. fucking
Yeah,
story
I
the
think
whole
this is a
time.
pretty-
All right,
My
let's
shit
go
in
in
the
a
toilet's
circle.
better
All
than
right,
this.
stop.
Are we
William.
doing it?
William.
It was. I mean, I think everything has been said that needs to be said. It was terrible. I really didn't like it. I liked the concept, and I think all the execution was awful, and the protagonist was awful, and the pacing was awful, and it just hurt my heart to read.
Dan.
Nope. Dylan.
Who- This guy is a complete sexist.
He's
Alright, he's
motioning towards John, by the way.
That's a real.
Really, yeah.
sorry.
That's a really
How come they don't invite any women on this podcast?
No.
Skillfully?
For the fact that if you read this guy is making women look horrendously horrible.
All right, he's making one woman look horrible. I think it's just
Come on.
it's
Yeah,
more.
you're making a
Okay,
little-
You're making a
That's
leap.
fucking ridiculous.
You're making
What about
a leap.
Granny? I like the Granny character.
Yeah.
I like Granny.
Yeah, but you don't make the fucking protagonist that stupid.
I think he just.
Oh my
I don't think he said,
I don't
I'm gonna make a character.
You just
Hey,
want a dumb
I'm gonna make a dumb
protagonist.
character,
Hey.
and I'm gonna make her a woman.
Wait.
Because women are
Wait a
dumb.
minute. No.
Women have spited me.
Hey.
What are you kind of saying?
No.
not.
Hey. What if it was a woman writer? You're just assuming it's a male writer. You're the
Well, the
sexist
author's
here.
name is Josh.
God
Parker.
damn it. God damn it. I wanted to call Dylan a sexist.
Fuck you sexist piece of shit.
What?
Oh my
I'm
God.
sexist.
How?
You called me sexist.
Yeah, that,
you
guys,
sexist.
that story is tearing us apart! We just need to cut the podcast off right here. This is a disaster.
I'm saying my
I'm done.
piece. I was between Dan and William. We're going back and forth a lot. This is the first time I've ever done a pasta without reading it first.
Thanks, John.
No,
And it was a train wreck.
No, I liked the experience because. Okay, all right. Can I say?
No, yeah.
No, you can't.
I liked the experience of reading a story that I had not read before on the podcast because I felt like I was on the same level with you guys of not knowing what was going to happen. And I was this story did one thing well. I wanted to know what was going to happen in the house. I wanted to know how it ended. I liked most of the characters.
We all knew.
The funny part is, as far as the actual objects in this story, there really is only one thing I didn't like, and it was the main character. But if you rewrite her well, and you take some of the build-up and you cut it in half, or you take some pieces out, don't go sort of screaming about the father.
You rewrite the whole goddamn thing.
You just burn it down. Listen,
At night.
listen. The other stories that we've read, and this is another issue that I have that I just realized, and this is the last thing I'll say. The other stories that we've read, the twists that we've seen, have at least been interesting, and we've been invested in them.
This was
We
predictable.
saw this twist coming from a mile of
Right.
fucking...
All right,
even
well,
from
you
the
didn't see-
title.
we didn't see the whole, you have to live in this house, otherwise you get killed. And you
Okay,
live
yeah,
in this
but I
house forever, and you
called the
constantly
fact that
kill
everyone
it-
was dead, and I called the fact that Mr. Norris was all fucked
There
up.
was nothing shocking about
Paragraphs before... Right.
You're right.
We all
Yes.
knew it was coming. This is a
Yes.
bad story.
Because
It's
there's
not
too
good.
much buildup. This is an example of having too much buildup. You know what? And we were talking. The funny thing is, we were talking about how Mr. Widemouth was too short, and this was way too fucking
Mr.
long.
Widemouth was fine.
Widemouth was perfect size to
Mr.
me.
Widemouth wasn't too short. I thought the ending was a
think
little
it was-
short, abrupt, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like
But
short.
that's how it would end, with him moving as a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and that was good. Let's,
this, This running to the fucking getting
you-
I.
would you say
Melinda
this-
ran into at. Melinda ran
Would you,
into him
Will,
at
would
a
you
rush.
say that this was the worst one we've read so far? I would say so.
I want
No.
to, but the lost episodes were really
okay,
dire.
that's true.
Like
That's
this
true.
is easily the third worst.
That's true.
Those two, the
I don't
Squidward
know.
suicide.
I don't know.
know.
At least those two had some semblance of like
Good protagonist.
intrigue or interesting stuff
I think
going on.
you're giving them too much credit. Those
don't
were
know.
awful, and we were
I don't know if my
similarly.
final thoughts yet at all. You had your
I
final
don't know.
thoughts.
Yeah, I know. We
I
keep
think the-
talking.
I think
You
the
keep
process-
talking. I say something like, "Oh, but then by the way,
Yeah, but
more news at 11."
I think
All right.
because of Melinda, this is a really bad. This is just a really bad.
All right, John's final thoughts.
Sorry.
John's final thoughts.
Sorry.
No one else talking.
No, what was I
Let's go to
saying?
bed.
I liked the character. I didn't like the character, is what I meant to say. I did not like Melinda very much. You know, she was suspect from the beginning. I agreed with her decisions upon entering the house until the point with the knife guy. And then you didn't need this long fight between Calvin and the granny. You just, you have the character run downstairs not really knowing what's going on, because that's what you would be. You would be terrified if you're Melinda, especially if you're as dumb as Melinda. Let's be honest, I'd be fucking terrified of all this shit, because this is a terrifying setting. It's terrifying sitting in the middle of a house, in the middle of nowhere, and then seeing a guy slash your fucking car, preventing you from leaving, and... Yeah, I like the idea of the story, and that's why I think this story has positive reviews for the most part. But it's just the character. Honestly, if you rewrite the character, I honestly think this could work. I honestly think if you cut a few things out and tweak a few things, this could be a lot better. So, on that note, on that positive note, I've been John.
At night.
At night.
Literally at night.
Roadhouse.
This has gone on for so long. I may not be able to upload this in its full capacity. I may have to cut this in 2 parts,
Okay.
but
Roadhouse.
we'll have to see what happens there.
At night.
And I'm Will, forever.
Forever.
At night.
And I'm Dan, at night forever in the Roadhouse
And I'm
with Mr.
Dylan.
Norris.
And I'm Dylan, also in the Roadhouse. At night.
At night.
And we will see you
Good night,
in
everyone.
the next one.
At night.
Good night, everybody.
At night.